What it do, everybody? Welcome to episode 341 of the Hoots podcast. It's Thursday, December 29, 2022. Our final episode of what's been a very fun and interesting year for our show. And I just want to say, for myself and Brett Carter, we want to thank you for your support for this podcast. This year's really meant a lot to us. We put a lot of work into it. We celebrated a couple things throughout the show this year. Going past 300 episodes. That was a very special episode. I'll never forget. Also, Brother Carter getting engaged. This podcast has done a lot of fun stuff, not just for myself and Brother Carter, but hopefully for each and every single one of you who ever took the time to watch or listen to this podcast. And this podcast comes to you free of charge every single Thursday, anywhere you get your podcast from. This is your weekly destination to have your back porch wrestling conversation with some good brothers along the way, and hopefully get your mind off of what's going on in the real world. It is yours truly, the one and only. No, I'm kidding. The one and only. That's a bad moniker to use. I am the man they call Brother Adam, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. And like I said, this show comes to you free of charge every single Thursday. We don't have a Patreon account. All I ask for you guys is to support the show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as you're watching this right now. Make sure to subscribe. Also, wherever you get your podcasts from, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere you get podcasts from, it means a lot to me and Brett Carter. And I know there's a lot of shows that are going on vacation and dropping best ofs of this and best of that. I didn't want to go on vacation. That's not how I roll. I'm one of the few people on earth that likes to work on the holidays, but I never consider the Hoots podcast work. This is my favorite time of the week. It's my weekly therapy session. Maybe I don't lash out and say what's bothering me while I do the show all the time, but I don't think you guys really realize the emotional and mental release it is for me to record the show for you guys. And I'm in a really reflective state of mind right now. I think a lot of us are, as we're about to wrap up this year. And I'm really looking forward to what 2023 is going to look like. I think for me, I think the one thing that keeps coming to my head is that I want to put myself out there more. I want to put myself out there more, not only for this podcast, but just myself personally. Same rules apply when it comes to the transcripts, and that work ethic and that grind is not going to go away, nor do I want it to. But I want to step out my comfort zone a little bit and come on here and do some more content for you guys. So I'm always open to suggestions. If you want to see me come in here and do some more video topics, would you like to see me do some reaction videos? I think that'd be pretty cool. Who knows, maybe we could live stream a pay-per-view and just talk with you guys. I really want to expand the reach of the show and what it could be. So if you guys have suggestions of stuff you'd like to see from this show in 2023, you can ask myself and Brother Carter. We'd like to see us do more interviews. We'd like to see us... any suggestion you have for us, it would mean a lot to myself and Brother Carter. But as we go on with the podcast today, it's going to be a fun one to set off this year with a bang. Like I said, I'm really proud of the content that we've produced this year, and I think we've done some of our best work, and I feel like our segment, What the Hell is Wrong with AEW, has really hit off, and it's been a major success to a lot of people who enjoy the show for what it is, and that segment in particular. And just stay tuned. For those who don't know, I'm actually recording live on YouTube and Facebook, so you're getting a full version of the show. Usually I don't record full shows when I'm doing it solo, but it's my treat for you guys to go out with a bang to wrap up 2022. I think from a content point of view, I think maybe besides that first year when it was me and Adam, I think 2022 has probably been our best year overall from a content point of view. Yeah, I could rattle off some of the numbers and stuff that we've done, but that's not important. I'm just talking about just pure content and being objective. Like I always told Brother Carter and everybody who's been a co-host or whatever on this show that I would still listen to this podcast even if it has nothing to do with me, and that's the truth. I'm very proud of what the show represents. I'm very proud of the things we've been able to accomplish. This is a DIY project to the core. We're not owned by ad-free shows who's dominating the marketplace, kind of hogging the marketplace, to be honest with you. I love you, Conrad, but holy shit. But hey, I kind of like challenges like that. You know, you can have ad-free shows. You can have every wrestler, past and present, and manager come on and have podcasts these days. But which one of them are really authentic and really stand out to you? So that's what the charm of the Hoots podcast is. We keep it a stack, and I'm very appreciative of every single one of you who take the time to watch the show, whether it's for 5 minutes or even if you listen or watch the whole show. It means a lot. So we're going to do what we usually do. In between, I might take a break here and there, just in the video portion, to refill my water jug, because I have to make sure I'm refreshed and I can go through the show. And we're going to do that. But with that being said, we're going to do the Q&A, Back Porch Q&A session. After that, as you see the title of this week's episode, we're going to make some predictions for Wrestle Kingdom 17, which is taking place this Wednesday. Very excited for that. That is New Japan's Super Bowl, or New Japan's WrestleMania in wrestling context. And it's a show that I enjoy covering. It's one of the few shows a year where I stay up to 6 o'clock in the morning to cover a wrestling event. And it's going to be worth it, so it's going to be a fun time to cover that event. And I think this next week, if you will, is going to be very interesting for myself from a professional point of view. I got to get with my guy that I help share transcripts with and see what the plan is for 2023. I think there may be a possibility that I might be transcribing some more podcasts and stuff, but there also may come with the possibility that for the site that I share transcripts on, I may not be able to post New Japan articles on them anymore, and that's very unfortunate because, believe it or not, I never told anybody this, but the most amount of money I make from my transcripts are the New Japan articles, and it's because of the amount of work that goes into it. These are longer events than your standard WWE show or AEW show. These are pay-per-view length events. They don't do TV in Japan. The shortest show they do is New Japan Strong, was the hour show they do on Saturday nights, and I take a lot of pride in my New Japan coverage, and you guys will see that once we get to that segment. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I'm going to be doing some more different type of transcripts in 2023, so hopefully maybe I can share my New Japan articles and get paid for them fairly at another site. That's the stuff I got to figure out in the next week or so. And I think in due time, everything will work out for itself. I'm really excited, as I am every year, to take my skills to the next level. 2023 is going to be a special one for me because I'm going to be celebrating my 10th year of being a broadcaster. I actually started this YouTube channel about 10 years ago, and I started going to the Illinois Media School 10 years ago, and it's been a fun journey to get myself out of my shell and take a risk. And this, like I said, this is therapy for me. Usually when I'm out there, I'm not really like talkative at times. I wouldn't call myself a recluse or a Grinch, but I'm one of those people that I'll speak when I'm spoken to. I'm not looking for attention. I'm not a clout chaser. I speak my mind. I say what I need to say for me and nobody else. And this is the one time of the week where I can come on here and shoot the shit with you guys. I'm not really here trying to impress anybody, to be honest with you. I in this journey of being a wrestling content creator, I feel like a lot of people do this for clout and getting verified, get that blue check mark, and be the first person to ask Tony Khan a question at a media scrum. That's not me. I'm one of those people who actually want to work in the wrestling business by earning my place in there and earning my trust, not only you guys who watch and listen to this show and read my transcripts, but also the people who are in the industry that can respect my work, and they know that when I'm doing my work, I'm not trying to disparage the industry or make it look bad, or try to get myself over at the expense of the industry. That's just not how I go about my content. I never gone about it that way, and I never will. And I'm not apologizing for that either. So, yeah, 2023 is going to be a good one, and I really feel like we'll take another big step in my professional career. And again, I just want to get myself out there more and take my stuff to the next level. It's time, and for me, I'm just going to challenge myself to do better than what I did this past year and years before that. So I just want to say thank you for taking a ride with me as I do this, and I appreciate each and every single one of you. So with that being said, let's take time to relax, sit back, strap it down. Let's answer some questions here for our Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you have a question for yours truly, all you have to do is hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. As we start off, as we usually do, with the Grip Butter Chris Aletta at XTeamSaletta24X on Twitter. All right. What up, Oos? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Can people stop with this narrative of wanting to split certain tag teams up in WWE from the Street Profits to now the Creed Brothers? Chris, I don't know what narratives people are willing to stop, because in this society, especially the wrestling bubble, people are more inclined to cling onto the narratives that they have on certain talents, promotions, booking, tag teams, like that's just their thing. They have a stance on it, and nobody's gonna convince them otherwise to do that. And I think it's a dumb way to look at professional wrestling, because there's not one way to go about it. And I feel that more times than not, people are not really watching the shows to enjoy professional wrestling. They're watching it to look at it as if they're the booker and they're responsible for booking the shows and stuff like that. And you get into silly stuff like this about, we got to split up the Street Profits. We got to split up the New Day. We got to split up the Creed Brothers. And then those are the same people that whine that there's not enough tag teams in professional wrestling. And I don't have that, quick attention span mindset. And I understand that could be like a serious thing and a serious issue for other people, and I don't look down on them for that, but I just have to call a spade a spade. We're in that ADD era of wrestling consumption, and I always tell people, go about wrestling and how about you want to go wrestling. If there's something about it that you enjoy for that, not enjoy it because this person said it or that person said it. Go about the wrestling in the way that works well for you. And there's no need to split up the Street Profits. There's no need to split up the Creed Brothers. I don't look at Angelo Dawkins as Marty Jannetty or whatever stupid ass comment that was. I forgot who even said that in the first place. Like, we got Angelo Dawkins as Marty Jannetty. Like, give me a break, man. I thought that was stupid. The guy is very talented. Now, is his personality come off as a guy that you'd probably be annoyed with by playing Madden online? Maybe like one of those trolling people. Sure, I can see that, but guy's good in the ring. I'll say that. Next question. Your Chicago Bears wish list for the 2023 offseason. Well, first and foremost, I think the most important thing to look out to is to have a competent person replacing Ted Phillips as the president of football operations. I think more important than anything that goes down in the offseason, whether it's players or new coaches, wherever it's going to be. I think the biggest thing when it comes to the Bears is having to look at the big picture, because really nothing can really start being sustainable unless the upper structure of the franchise starts living up to the fact that this is a charter franchise of the NFL, and our front office, stuff like that, management team has been made to look like an absolute joke for the last 40 years or so. Guys, I wasn't even born the last time the Bears won a Super Bowl. I was 13 years old the last time the Bears were in a Super Bowl. I'd never seen a good, sustainable quarterback in my life. And a lot of that starts at the top. And just like with any other team, good organizations that compete consistently year after year have that infrastructure in their management. So nothing's going to happen with the Bears or Justin Fields or whatever the situation is until we have our front office straight. I don't know enough about Ryan Poles to tell you that he's going to be the guy or not. And I can't say that because I know how the city works. The city is so unrealistic in how it looks from a bigger picture point of view when it comes to overseeing sports that they want to shuffle in. It doesn't matter what sport it is. It could be the NBA, NHL, or football. In Chicago, people want to shuffle out owners and general managers every 3 years or so. It's just how the city is. I don't agree with it. I think it makes us stupid, but that's just how it is. So the most important thing for me, Chris, is to make sure that we have the right president of football operations. Then you can go into looking into upgrading our defensive line because our front seven just has been gone because all of our main stars got traded and got released the season prior. So really, my main priority right now is make sure our front office is straight. Any certain programs, feud stories you would like to see in 2023 around wrestling? Good question. I'd like to see Drew McIntyre and Gunther. It doesn't have to be for the Intercontinental Championship. I just think anytime you could get either a program or just a match between those two is something that I want to see. Like to see a little bit more Jay White and Naito. If we're talking about New Japan, I think that'd be pretty cool. When it comes to AEW, that's the thing. I can't really pick out any from the women's division because it's like sometimes I'm not really sure who I'm really supposed to cheer for in that division. Like that's one of the divisions out of any company that you look at their roster. They have talented wrestlers, but can you really pinpoint who really is the heels or baby faces? It's like 80% heels in AEW when it comes to the female roster. And then if you look for baby faces, they're stuck on Dark and Elevation. So I can't really say like, oh, I want to see Ruby Soho and Britt Baker. I already saw that. I don't want to see... Okay, how about this? How about we do... Let's do Paige and Jamie Hayter just for the fuck of it, right? AEW's going to London in 2023, right? Why not? Let's say they have an AEW Women's Championship match. Let's say Jamie Hayter's still the champion by then. You can have Paige get her shot in London in that whatever stadium they're going to do for the AEW show. There's one there. Impact... Like to see Josh Alexander and Jonathan Gresham. I think that'd be really good just from a pure technical wrestling standpoint. I like to see Ace Austin get into more of the world title scene. Again, if you want to do Josh Alexander and Ace Austin, that'd be pretty cool. Next question here. Where will Kota Ibushi be wrestling in 2023? Do we have the same answer? LO. Well, I don't know if we have the same answer. I don't know, man. It's been a bummer. I understand the issues that he has with New Japan, and that's something that we really don't need to talk about here. That's just an unfortunate situation. But I think for me, I would like to see him... you probably show up in AEW. I wouldn't be surprised if he would go there. Obviously, he has his connections with Kenny Olivier, but I think for me, I'm fine either way. If he shows up in New Japan, if he's in All Japan, I don't know. That's one of those that are up the air. You never know when it comes to, at least for the Japanese talent. And I don't think it's just easy to look at Japanese performers as free agents as compared to people that are either from let's say Canada or United States. Japanese talents definitely love their homeland, and to uproot their life, it's just a different way to go about it than it is. Let's say, okay, we can have Josh Alexander make Impact his home, but again, we have to remember Impact is run by a Canadian sports organization, Anthem Sports, right? I just when you look at the free agent landscape in professional wrestling, it's just different parameters for people that are either born in the U.S. or Canada, even Mexico, than it was, let's say, Japan or England. Like, I'm not surprised that Tyler Bate and Trent Seven and some of these other guys from NXT UK are not weekly featured performers on Raw or SmackDown, because they have families in the UK. Like, it's a different deal. So whatever works best for Coda, I want it for his purposes, not because, oh, Coda's just showing up so he can get more pops for Meltzer. Honestly, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're working for the industry just to get recognition of Dave Meltzer, you have some issues, my man. Here's the next question. Did you enjoy this little break this past Monday without Raw? I really can't say it was a break, because it was the best of show, but I guess the good thing I can say about it is that it wasn't new content, so I could look back at some of the transcripts I did for the matches they chose to air for their best of show. Am I happy that it wasn't a new show? No, I mean, I love working. I mean, it wasn't Christmas. Christmas was Sunday. It wasn't Monday, so I wanted maybe see some new stuff, but they went with the best of route, and it was easy work for me. So I guess I could say that maybe it wasn't too much of hard work on a Monday night, besides a bad episode of Dark Elevation. But I mean, you posed a good question there. Are there times that maybe I should have a break from transcribing articles? Sure, maybe that's something I could look into my schedule for 2023. But I did feel like I was on a break because I had to share that article for you guys. So I really didn't take the night off on Monday. So that's the best way I can answer that question. Next question. All right. Wrestle Kingdom predictions. Stay tuned. Best advice going into the new year for someone. Forgive yourself. I talk about healing a lot on this podcast, for better or worse. I don't think real healing ever starts until you start forgiving yourself, even for stuff that you're not responsible for, the pain that you're dealing with. Forgiving yourself. I know it's easier said than done, but honestly, you want real signs of what healing looks like, forgive yourself. Even for having your heart broken, your best friend turning your back on you, losing communication with whoever negative energy that comes your way. If you could forgive yourself, even for things that you're not responsible for, I think you not carry that negative weight on your shoulders. And that's the best advice I could give to somebody, because that's real. Every year, everybody can talk about New Year's resolutions, about losing weight and blah, 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 and this and that. But honestly, it's what's in here that counts. And I hope for those who are maybe not in the best state of mind, emotionally or spiritually, I hope you have the time to go through that process. And no matter how difficult that is, it takes a while. I always tell people like there's no timeline to go about your healing process. Like for me, I'm like 2 months past of me getting over my healing situation. Like my healing process ended about 2 or 3 months ago, where like, you know, when you can have that weight off your shoulder, and when you could go about your day, you're not looking, searching, thinking about the things that hurt you. And the main way I got to that point was forgiving myself. And I think it's just important to forgive yourself. Like, this is life. Do you want to hold grudges? Do you want to live with resentment and what ifs and what shouldas and, feeling down on yourself because you got your heart broken or rejections or, I just don't think holding grudges and letting things fester inside of you, even for things you have no control over, should be something that you should be carrying with yourself every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, and to be holding on to something that really doesn't matter at the end of the day, or holding resentment over someone who knows that they love you but they can't acknowledge it themselves. You see that? Acknowledge me. It's not worth it. It's not. Especially in love. If you can't acknowledge yourself, how can you expect anybody to acknowledge you? Remember that. If you want to talk about relationships and stuff, if you can't acknowledge yourself, how can you expect anybody else to acknowledge you? That's why I'm wearing this shirt today. Acknowledge me. I'm not wearing this for a girl to acknowledge me. I'm wearing this for me, but because I have to acknowledge myself every day, every time I wake up. Not for selfish reasons, but how can you expect any respect or love or interest or anything from anybody if you don't have it for yourself? So that's my advice for anybody heading towards the new year. Forgive yourself and also acknowledge yourself. Great question there. Thoughts on Dragon Lee signing with NXT and WWE? I think it's cool. Like, I don't know everything about Dragon Lee. I've only had a few select opportunities to transcribe his work, whether he showed up in AEW or Impact. But for what I've seen, he's very talented. And it's hard at times to differentiate what separates one luchador from another. But I think he's talented, and I hope it works out for him. Let me take a quick swig of water as we're talking here. All right. Oh, yes. High quality H2O. Never misses. All right. Who wins this mega tag team main event on SmackDown tomorrow? Man. I'm going to go with John Cena and Kevin Owens. I'll even one up there. Kevin Owens will pin Roman Reigns with a stunner. Either that, or I can see it too. Kevin Owens hits Roman with a stunner, but John Cena gets a pinfall with over Sami Zayn with the AA. One way or another, I think Kevin Owens and John Cena are going to win the match. Well, obviously, we'll have to see what's going to happen because this is probably going to give you a clue of whether or not Roman and KO are going to fight each other at the Royal Rumble. But either way, I'll tell you what, man. I'm really excited to cover that event tomorrow night in Tampa. We got Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn against Kevin Owens and John Cena. That is going to be a barn burner, if you will. I'm really, really looking forward to that, so that should be a good time. And then the last question here for Chris. He says, wrestling predictions for 2023. Do you have one or multiple for each company? Let's do this in order. In WWE, Drew McIntyre will turn heel in 2023. Seth Rollins will become a babyface. I think Kevin Owens becomes a world champion in 2023. I also think that Nick Aldis will show up in WWE in 2023. Also, I think Mickie James might come back as well, as I'm mentioning Nick Aldis. AEW, I think either Tony Schiavone or Jim Ross will retire or be flat out released. I think FTR will leave AEW. I can see possibly a potential retirement angle or loser leaves town thing with Chris Jericho, because that has to go somewhere. Like, I don't think people really realize how much bad television that dude has produced since he's been in the company. I think we're all like fooling ourselves, like, oh, this career renaissance for Chris Jericho. Like, come on, man. Fucking Ray Charles in his grave can tell you that Chris Jericho's been putting out bad TV. I see MJF holding the title to All Out. I don't know if he's going to go the full year, because this is going to be a very important year when it comes to AEW and MJF, because the bidding war of 2024 is a real thing. And hopefully for them, it works out for him. I'm sure we'll see some more signs for WWE talent if there's another cut of releases. That's just how the game goes. Impact. I think Impact may do some bigger shows at some bigger venues. That's my hope for 2023. When it comes to me, I'm not really concerned about content stuff with Impact. It's just that they put out some really good pure wrestling shows and have really good wrestling matches. But fuck, man, having these shows at local gyms in Florida and Skyway Studios and stuff like that, for them in the NWA, like, if you want people to take your brand seriously, you got to have some money. And, you know, and I also say this in advance too, like, if you want an alternative, even from AEW, go about it. Support MLW, support the NWA, support, even if I'm not for Mud Show Wrestling, support your GCW, support your Impact shows. If you want different styles of wrestling to be taken seriously on a bigger level, go about supporting their brands. Hell, I get paid to cover those companies, but still then I have to pay money out of my own pocket to cover their pay-per-views. So I'm doing my own part to support the company. It's not like Fight TV is giving me free codes like Sean Ross Sapp and all these other people. I'm putting money out of my own pocket to pay for New Japan World and pay for pay-per-views that I have to cover. So I'm supporting the company. I put money where my mouth is. I'm not one company guy. I enjoy all professional wrestling for what it is, and I support professional wrestling, even if it costs me money. So that's how it goes. Yeah, and then that's pretty much it for my predictions for that. Let's see here. Let's go to Nate the Great. Yes, Nate the Great at Psycho Nagiri. Make sure you find him there. He's a good man, a all good man. He says here, he doesn't need one, but do you think Bray Wyatt will win a title this time around? I say yes, but not anytime soon. I don't see it happening. It can happen if we have the multiple titles again for the two brands, but I don't see him becoming a world champion. Something really there has to be a layer about Roman Reigns that Bray Wyatt can reveal, like he could take out of Roman Reigns, that would make me interested in seeing them fight each other for the world championship, Nate. But unless there's two titles around, I do not see Bray Wyatt becoming a champion. And let's not forget, I understand it. I was there at WrestleMania 33 with the whole LED projector screens in the ring, and I really wasn't paying attention to that at this show, because I was watching the match. I thought the match itself was fine, and the build-up going into it was really nice. It's just a shame that something like that is a reason to take away from the stuff they're doing in the ring. We all get it. Bray Wyatt has the whole supernatural stuff, but even if you think LED projector bugs in the ring is dumb too, okay, I can understand and respect that, but let's not lose attention of what's going on in the ring. Not let something like that make you turn on an entire match. I just don't understand that way of looking at things. But yeah, I don't see Bray Wyatt becoming a world champion again unless there's two titles to float around. Is FTR like Ted? Oh my God. Ted, this is a How I Met Your Mother reference. This should be interesting. Bashed their former once they left, but now it feels like they might be on their way back, like Ted always goes back to Robin. Well, here's the question, Nate. Is WWE the one? Because that's why Ted went back to Robin as many times as he did. Let's not forget that, okay? That's pretty funny. It's FTR like Ted. If you guys watch How I Met Your Mother, let's get into the whole debate about the finale and everything like that. Look, I understand that a lot of people had enjoyment over the fact that Barney and Robin were a popular couple on the show and stuff like that. They did the whole wedding scene, but if we're being honest, the whole premise of the show is not the namesake of the show. It's the journey of Ted's life going into that. And believe it or not, the mother of your child may not be your soulmate. And Robin was his soulmate. The question here is WWE FTR's soulmate? Because if you're saying FTR is like Ted, and he always goes back to them, he always goes back to Robin, then FTR would have to go back to WWE. I don't know if they look at it that way. I think FTR are more about their work and letting the work speak for themselves than clinging on to one promotion. I'll tell you this. I think their success in AEW is in spite of the booking they've had in AEW. I might be alone in that point of view because they gave Dax the opportunity to have these singles matches and barn burners and stuff like that. But how they've been handled after that initial Young Bucks feud in the Daily Place era is embarrassing for a tag team of that stature. You know, them holding multiple titles of Ring of Honor and AAA and all the IWGP tag team titles, that wasn't a thing to raise the AEW banner. FTR's success is in spite of that. I don't know what's going to happen with them. They could do what they want. Honestly, I wouldn't care if they... for me, I think it'd be cool if they were exclusive and, you know, doing stuff with New Japan. I think that'd be cool. Whether they go back to WWE or not, it's not really on my priority list. But I'm curious how that's gonna play out too. I know Dax started and launched his new podcast today. I saw that. I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing, but Dax has a podcast which is part of the Conrad Thompson Empire. That's the fun challenge. It's Conrad Thompson shows and then everybody else in the wrestling podcasting game. And good on him, man. He's got all these performers and wrestlers and stuff dominating the scene. And that brings me honest to myself and other podcasters to really make ourselves stand out from other people who actually work in the industry and stuff like that. So I appreciate you guys' support for rocking with us for the last 6 years. Honestly, that's a great question. I have no idea what's going to happen with FTR, but if we're comparing to Ted and Robin and How I Met Your Mother, then you're implying that WWE is where FTR always wanted to be. Because that was Ted's final destination was Robin, and I don't blame Ted because holy moly donut shop, Colby Smulders is one beautiful woman. All right, let's go to the next set of questions. Would you rather see Walter Payton or Michael Jordan in their prime? Great question. I'd rather see Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is one of my all-time hometown idols. I never got to see him play in person before. That's the thing. I never got to see him play. I watched on a TV screen. I saw the Washington Wizard run, unfortunately. But I was too young to appreciate or get to live and experience and have that memory of me seeing Michael Jordan experience that intro at the United Center with him coming out at the Madhouse in Madison. I never got to experience that. For me, even though football is my favorite sport, I never got really a chance to watch Michael Jordan perform in person. And that's not taking anything away from Walter, because Walter is an icon in the city as well. But for me personally, I would rather see Michael Jordan in his prime and get to appreciate what he was doing. Like if you took current me and dropped me into 1996, where the Bulls won a title and they were 72-10, I think that'd be pretty cool, right? Like you get to attend a game where they won the NBA Finals inside the United Center. That'd been awesome. I wish I got the opportunity to watch Michael Jordan play in person, but that's just me. Next question. Let's get closer to the camera, actually. Ooh, another Chicago-based question here. Chicago dog or pizza? Pizza. 100%. Pizza is my favorite food. For those who want to know, pizza is the best. Nothing against Chicago-style hot dogs, but for me, it's Chicago-style pizza all day, every day. All right, next question. What satisfies you the most about doing transcripts? What satisfies you the most about doing the transcripts? I think for me, it's the challenge more than anything. You know, I started making transcripts in 2014, and it's crazy to think that 9 years has gone by that fast, but it's the challenge. It really is. I say that the transcript is really going to benefit me down the road because, honestly, one of the things I always wanted to do outside of being like a guitar player, if you ask me, what are the two things you wanted to be known for, got the opportunity to do, like what would be your dream job? It's always been either to be the next Glenn Fry and have like a rock band like the Eagles and tour around the world, or it would be to be the next Jim Ross and call wrestling matches. And I feel like for me, having this experience and this career of making transcripts is really going to help me out for the opportunity, if I ever had the opportunity to call a wrestling match, because I have so many moves and I know how sequences work and how they look and how the flow of the matches go. The next part of me is actually just calling the match and learning how to tell stories. And I think for me, what satisfies me the most is the fact that I can follow along, even for a match that I think can be all over the place, like this Elite Death Triangle Best of 7 Tumbling Fest. Like, you know, have the challenge of typing down all those moves and all those sequences. Even if they don't make sense, I like challenging myself to type out matches like that get highly acclaimed and stuff like that. My satisfaction comes from covering big time events for New Japan or covering a WrestleMania or stuff like that. It's the challenge of covering long shows and covering matches that are either highly touted or matches I think can be difficult to transcribe, because even then, you know, no matter how long I've been doing this, it struggles sometimes covering matches that are just fully based on amateur grappling and stuff like that. I've never been an amateur wrestling fan. I don't know how that sequence works. There's only so many times I can say somebody transitioned from a hammerlock to wristlock hammerlock. You know, like it's a little different thing for me to process than, you know, your standard wrestling match. So even that, there's stuff that challenges me that I want to get better at from a transcript point of view, but I get satisfaction of like, okay, here's a card that's 14 matches long. Can you do it? Can you cover a 6-hour pay-per-view? Can you do, like, for example, as we're going to preview Wrestle Kingdom in a little bit, like Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay will probably be the easiest match for me to transcribe next Wednesday. But there's also a challenge that comes with it. I want to make sure when I do a transcript like that it cuts out perfectly, because I want to do the match justice. So when I'm transcribing a match, I want to make sure that it reads well to you guys as you read it, and you can visualize it yourself of, okay, you don't have the time to watch the match, but my goal, my challenge, my job is to make sure the transcript can visualize the match for you, even if you don't have the time to watch it or pay for the pay-per-view. That's my job. That's what a wrestling transcript is supposed to look like, or a wrestling result piece, whatever you want to call it. That is my job. So that's what I get satisfaction from. It's a challenge to make sure that my work is top tier, and that's that. Last question here for Nate. He says, where will Derek Carr be playing next year? Good question. Would not surprise me if there's a swap. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady goes to the Raiders, and I would not be surprised if Derek Carr plays for either the New York Jets or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Would not surprise me if that happens, to be honest with you. It would not surprise me. So I think either way, it's a shame what's going on in Vegas. Josh McDaniels is a complete and utter clown when it comes to handling head coaching duties. There's a reason why coordinators only have that ceiling to go to the next level, and that's just what it is. So let me mute my mic really quick and see what's going on the YouTube feed. Just give me 1 second. All right, got it there. All good. Just wanted to make sure that everything's working here on our technical feed. The charm of running a live podcast. All right, let's move on. Our last batch of questions this week comes from the good brother Mike at Main Event Swerve. Make sure you follow him there on the Twitter machine. All right, here we go. He says, all right, just 1 second here. Got it right here. What up, Boost? I asked some backwards questions for the last Q&A of 2022, so here it goes. What is something that you like to leave in 2022? As people say in different years, I say Andrew Tate, other than kickboxing, go the fuck home and stay the fuck home. So what would be something that I'd say to like go the fuck home and stay the fuck home for 2022? I'm guilty of doing this too, but him, like, so-and-so is him. Another saying that I get really tired of, like, nobody wants this. We didn't ask for this. Can we, I don't care if it's sports or wrestling, but can we please stop trying to speak for everybody on Twitter especially? It's not a Facebook issue. It's just an issue I have with Twitter. Stop trying to speak for everybody. Because you don't like something doesn't mean everybody doesn't like it. Or we don't like it. Who's we? Are you speaking for me? Nobody speaks for me. It's a little quirk for me that just bothers the ever-loving shit out of me. But again, stop speaking for people. Be you. Stop saying stuff just to get likes and retweets. It's amazing how many amount of people I've had to mute or block because just stupid stuff and trying to like. One thing for me personally, I cannot stand clout chasers. I just can't. It makes me ill inside. I can't stand disingenuous people who just say stuff just looking to get a gain out of it. I just have no respect for that. I don't. And especially when people say nobody wants this or stop trying to speak for everybody. Speak for yourself. I can appreciate the fact that if you don't like something, but don't tell me that I don't like. I can't like something because you don't like something. It makes no sense. Okay. If we could abolish that phrase, just please, let's just do that. Besides that, there's really nothing that really grinds my gears, I guess, for that point of view. Question number 2, does Jake Paul endorsing the Cleveland Browns make the organization look better or worse? Look, man, people have their opinions on the Paul brothers. I'm indifferent when it comes to the Paul brothers. I think Logan's done a lot of good stuff in WWE, but I'm not going on my way to watch his podcasts or watch his TikTok videos and stuff like that. It's really not on my priority list, so what they do has no concern to me. Jake Paul endorsing the Cleveland Browns because the Paul brothers are from Ohio. That's their team. I think I wouldn't say it makes the organization look better or worse. I think what's the saying? The Paul brothers and the Cleveland Browns, they deserve each other. it makes sense, if we're being honest. Ohio is the dump of all dumps. It is what it is. Deshaun Watson being an overrated bum has nothing with him playing for the Browns. He's just overrated. That's what it is. But when it comes to the Paul brothers, he's endorsing Cleveland because they're Ohio kids. That's what it is. Were you as surprised as I was to see the Rockets beat the Bulls by 15 the other night to snap their 3-game winning streak? No, it's the NBA. Anybody could beat anybody, especially in the regular season on any night. So I was not really surprised or taken aback by that. I watched NXT somewhat consistently, and while I think it was a good match, I was confused. What were Fallon Henley and Kiana James fighting for in the Battle of the Bar? Well, their whole storyline is meant that Kiana James, her character is that she's an entrepreneur, she's a mogul, that she has all the money in the world, and that she can thumb her nose at the other female performers because of her wealth and what her background is. Now, whether any of that stuff is true or not, I don't know. But it's really a power play, figuratively, if you really think about it. But there's also an essential tie to it for the fact that Brooks Jensen, who's part of that trio with Josh Briggs and Fallon Henley, he's very lured by the ladies. You know, like if he sees a hot girl noticing him, he's gonna be on cloud 9. And what better way to, you know, get at Fallon Henley and play mind games with her than go after her family's bar, use Brooke Jensen to pretending that she likes him while taking down Fallon Henley just because she could. It's a figurative power play. That's really all it is. That's what the whole feud was. Now, whether Brooke Jensen turns on Josh Briggs and Fallon Henley and joins forces with Kiana James, we'll have to see. But I'm not convinced one way or another whether that's going to happen anytime soon. So we'll have to see how that plays out. All right. Who else out there can see making a pre-WrestleMania splash move moving to NXT soon? Are you talking about strictly the main roster? Because I think we're seeing that right now with Drew Gulak. That's a good question. Because you got to look at some of the guys that are on the roster right now that may or may not have a spot at WrestleMania. So who do you think is going to have the opportunity to fight for a championship at NXT Stand Deliver like Dolph Ziggler did last year? Let's say, how about this? Let's say that Asuka fights Roxanne Perez at Stand and Deliver. Anybody have an issue with that? Let's say Asuka has like a mini return run in NXT. Because that's the only one that's popping off the top of my head right now as we speak. Maybe Sheamus, that'd be pretty cool if he has nothing going on in the show. But I think right now I can see Asuka out of everybody having like a NXT run heading into WrestleMania soon. So we'll have to see how that goes. Next question. What do you think of Gunther defending the IC title in the Elimination Chamber? Who would you like to see in that possible match? Is that rumor and innuendo, or is that actually happening? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I think it'd be cool. Just depends if you have the right people in it, I guess. If you have let's say, how about this? Instead of Gunther defending the title in the Elimination Chamber, let's say you have an Elimination Chamber match, and whoever wins that match fights Gunther at WrestleMania. Like, you do Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Ricochet, Killer Cross, that's 4, right? Butch, 5, and for the hell of it, if you want to do it, let's do Jey Uso at 6. Or you can put Kofi in there if you want. You have No, how about this? I got it right here. You do Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Ricochet, Braun Strowman, Killer Cross, and Santos Escobar. Whoever wins that match will fight Gunther at WrestleMania. That's what I would do. If that's one of the Elimination Chamber matches that you're going to do at the show, I'm fine with that. Honestly, I don't think the world title has to be featured in these Elimination Chamber matches. I don't. Now, if you want to have the Raw Women's title defended in there, cool. Or the SmackDown one, fine. But I think for me, I think it'd be pretty cool. Let's say, like, you have the Elimination Chamber match. Whoever wins that one has the right to fight Gunther at WrestleMania. That puts the IC title on a bigger pedestal, which it deserves. And for the reign that Gunther's been having so far, I think that'd be pretty cool, actually. Question number 8. Who do you think comes out for number 30 at the Men's Royal Rumble? Cody Rhodes, The Rock, Drew McIntyre, or someone else? CM Punk. CM Punk. CM Punk. No, I'm kidding. Brother Carter would be pissed if that happens, right? God, man. I'm gonna go with Cody Rhodes. That'd be my pick. Question 9. If this is Edge's last Mania match, who do you want to see him fight one more match with, so to speak? Well, we've done Seth Rollins, right? We're in this feud with the Judgment Day. Man. How about this for full circle? Cross and Edge. Both of them kind of have an eerie resemblance to each other in how they carry themselves from a storytelling standpoint. Like, let's say Cross is the one to end Edge's career. I'm going to throw that out there. Let's say Killer Cross is the man responsible for ending Edge's career. They had that little brief standoff in that parking lot at NXT a few years ago. I do remember that. It'd be kind of full circle to see something like that happen. You can have Scarlett interact with Beth Phoenix along the way. I think it could actually work, to be honest with you. And what a notch that would be for Killer Cross for himself to say, like, hey, I'm the guy that put Edge away. Just throwing it out there. All right, next question. The MLB Commission spoke about expanding the league by 2 teams in the next few years. What cities would you like to see get a team? Good question. Let's go with Montreal. What? Let's bring back the Expos. And then, man. Well, let's see. That's a good question. What other city I would like to see get another baseball team? We don't need any more teams in Ohio, so we can forget that. Got enough teams in New York and Chicago, obviously. Same thing with LA. Texas is already preoccupied. Sorry, brother. That's a great question. I'm trying to think of like a popular city. Well, we already got Missouri's covered with 2 teams, right? Kansas City and the Cardinals. Man, you're really stumping me on this one. Milwaukee. Oh, no. Do we really want another Green Bay team? Good God, no. How about this? Give Portland a baseball team. Why not? I don't know if Portland has a baseball team, but Portland, Oregon's a cool city. I don't really have an issue with that. Give Portland a baseball team. So let's bring back the Expos, or maybe have a Vancouver baseball team, and then you could do Portland, wherever they name that team. That'd be the 2 cities I'd like to see get some baseball teams. All right. What do you think of instant ejections in NFL games for hits on defensive receivers? I think it all goes back to about intent, but there's much more issues when it comes to officiating than just that. If you're doing a reckless shot to the head with your helmet and you're taunting the guy after that, then that deserves an ejection. But without actually doing the replay and seeing the intent of it, and it's just a shoulder that popped him, then I don't think you need to pull the plug on it as that quickly. If you want my honest opinion on that. Who are the last teams for the NFC and AFC wildcard spots? Great question. I have the Steelers for the AFC, and I got the brand new Lions. That's right. Keep it my hopes up. The brand new Lions will make the playoffs, and the Packers will miss the playoffs. Next question. If you had thousands to spend on a Christmas display, what would you do with that? What spectacular song or sequence would you use to set it up? Oh, God, I don't. I can't really answer this one, bro. You're asking the wrong person. I don't put up a Christmas tree. I could put up a Christmas tree if my life depended on it. That's just that's a no shot. I can't answer that, to be honest with you. Can you picture me, of all people, setting up Christmas lights and a big display like all that? I just probably pull up, if I had money to spend, I'd just buy an inflatable Grinch and put it in front of my house. No shot. There's no way you could catch me setting up any Christmas displays or anything like that. What would your MLB walk-up song be? Big Papa. How about that? Big Papa by B.I.G. That'd be my pick. Did you see Sports Illustrated top wrestlers of 2022 list? Mox was number 2. So what do you think? Was his time right now? We're living in his time right now, right? Goddamn! I appreciate you dropping that. What the hell's AEW thing? That's pretty funny. Oh God. Here's the deal. It's subjective. John Moxley being number 2 and Seth Rollins being number 1, I disagree with that, but I'm not going to throw a hissy fit over it. It is what it is. It's a stupid list. It's really not the end of the world when it comes to sports and just wrestling in general. Like, it's really not. Like, I think people are making too much a mountain out of a molehill of that in the first place. That's just an opinion, but do I consider John Moxley in my top 3 of wrestlers in 2022? Hell no. Hell no. I did not put John Moxley on that list. No shot. No shot. Mister, I gotta bleed just to make my match interesting. No shot. All right, let's go to the next question here as I take a swig of water. Oh, man. Oh, so good. All right. Who are your breakout artists or songs of the year? I say honorable mention to Bailey Zimmerman for Fall in Love, and of course the best Amazon music performance yet, Anita. She has been on fire this year. Yeah, she's very, very impressive. I'll say that for sure. Man, that's a tough one to answer for breakout performers. Can I say Damn Straight by Scotty McCreery? It's a country song. I think that'd be a good one to pick. I'll be honest with you, I'm out of the loop when it comes to like current music. Like, I can't pick a Tank song as a breakout song. Speaking of Tank, I hope you guys like that song, No Limits. It's a very, very good song in my opinion. It's hard to pick, brother. I'll probably go with Scotty McCreery, Damn Straight, or It Takes Two by Fiji Blue. That would probably be my only good guesses at that, to be honest with you. It's really hard to pick just one for a breakout song. All right, last question for the Q&A this week. This may be tough, but which 5 bands would you pick for this list for one killer lineup? Thanks as always, and have an Oosie Hootie New Year. I appreciate that. You too, my man. I'll start off with Nirvana, Follow that up at number 2 with Linkin Park. From there, we'll do Guns N' Roses, right? 4, go with Metallica, and 5, wrap it up with the Beatles. You got different like edges of rock music, and then we wrap it up with the Beatles. That'd be my pick. It's a shame that the Eagles are not a part of this picture that you added here, brother. But there's a lot of good bands to pick from for sure. But I definitely want to have Linkin Park. I definitely want to have Guns N' Roses. I definitely want Nirvana to be part of it. But definitely for sure would have to close out with the Beatles. That would definitely have to be number 1 on my list for sure. With that being said, that is going to conclude our Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you ever want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Let's go and put a ribbon bow in this segment and transition into our New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 17 preview and predictions. Let's do that right now. All right, guys, time to talk about Wrestle Kingdom 17 coming up this Wednesday from the Tokyo Dome. Man, it's crazy. I think this is my 7th Wrestle Kingdom that I covered. Either 7th or 8th. This will be a fun event to transcribe. This is going to be a short segment, but I'm gonna go over the matches here, and then we'll go into predictions and tell you where my head's at with most of them. But New Japan Pro Wrestling's biggest show of the year, Wrestle Kingdom 17. It's going to be a fun card from top to bottom, and we have a lot of fun matches to discuss, so let's do that, shall we? We have the 2 pre-show matches on the show, which is Railway Oiwa, who's a young lion, take on Boltland Olig. I don't know who that is, but I'm always curious to transcribe matches and performances I've never seen before. Then from there, we have the annual New Japan Rambo, which is a battle royal. The winner will take on Shingo Takagi for the KOPW Provisional Championship at New Year's Dash. So whoever wins this match will fight Shingo at Korakuen Hall on next Thursday. From there, we get to the main card of the show. This is where our predictions will start. We start off with the Antonio Inoki Memorial 6-man tag team match, which features Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, Togi Makabe taking on a team of Tetsumi Fujinami, Minoru Suzuki, and Tiger Mask. And I'm going to go with Nagata, Kojima, and Makabe to get the victory in that one. But it definitely should be fun to see some forearm exchanges for sure with Minoru Suzuki and Nagata and Kojima. That should be fun. From there, we go to the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title match, which features Kachutu United Empires, TJP, and Francisco Akira taking on Leo Rush and Yo. They are the winners of the 2022 Super Junior Tag League Tournament. I have Leo Rush and Yo becoming your brand new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. I see that going down. It's going to be a fun match to transcribe. I'm really looking forward to that one. But I am going with Chaos to beat United Empire. And that's going to be an absolute barn burner. All right. From there, we go to the IWGP Women's Championship match. We got Kairi Sane taking on Tam Nakano. I got Kairi retaining that one. We got FTR putting their IWGP World Tag Team titles on the line against Bishamon's member Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. This match can steal the show. I got Bishamon beating FTR. I think Yoshihashi Goto will bring the titles back to Japan. I have Zack Sabre Jr. becoming your inaugural NJPW World Television Champion. I got Tamataga defeating Carl Anderson to become the brand new Never Openweight Champion. There's going to be a lot of title matches, a lot of title changes on this show, in my opinion. Then from there, we got Keiji Muto's last New Japan match. So previously, we had the Great Muda's last New Japan match a couple months ago. Now we're going into Keiji Muto, the guy behind the Great Muda. He's having his final New Japan match. It's Keiji Muto, Tanahashi, and Shota Umino against Naito, Sonata, and Bushi. I think that's a good question. I'm kind of curious how it's gonna go, but I have LIJ winning. If you're doing like a last match, usually the guy in that match usually loses. So I have Naito beating Muto with the Destino, and that's how it's gonna go. Then we need to start 3 signature matches on the card coming up on Wednesday. It's going to be a fun match to transcribe. We have the Fatal 4-Way for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion. Junior Heavyweight Championship. It's Ishimori against El Desperado, Hiromu Takahashi, and Master Wato. I have Hiromu Takahashi winning this match. Though I am rooting for El Desperado, I'm going to go with Takahashi to become the new IWGP champion. I have Will Ospreay beating Kenny Olivier and retaining the IWGP US Championship. It's going to be crazy how that one goes. And then finally, in the main event, I have Okada defeating Jay White and becoming your brand new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. So you're looking around maybe 4 or 5 title changes on this card on Wednesday, and that's going to be a fun one to transcribe for sure. So just really quick to recap before we get to our main event segment, I have Nagata, Kojima, and Makabe beating Fujinami, Suzuki, and Tiger Mask in the Inoki Memorial match. After that, got Catch 2-2, Francisco Kira, and TJP losing their titles against Leo Rush and Yo. I got Kyrie retaining. I got Bishamama becoming the new tag team champions. I got Zack Sabre Jr. becoming the first New Japan World Television Champion. I got Tama Tonga becoming the new never openweight champion. I got LIJ defeating the Keiji Muto's team. I got Takahashi becoming the brand new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. I got Will Ospreay retaining over Kenny Olivier, and then we got Okada defeating Jay White in the main event. I can't wait to transcribe that match. It's gonna be awesome. Jay White and Okada, that's gonna be phenomenal. From a storytelling point of view, that match may go 30 40 minutes, just to be honest with you. That match is going to be awesome, but I have Okada finish out this 50th year for New Japan Pro Wrestling as the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. So those are my predictions, if you will, for Wrestle Kingdom 17 coming up in just a couple of days. So make sure to check out my New Japan transcripts at ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. All right, one swig of water, and then we'll get to our main event. All right. Excuse me. All right, here we go. I think we're all set over there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event. One last main event segment for 2022. Let's finish this thing off with a bang, okay? Let's finish this thing off with a bang. It's time, once again, ladies and gentlemen, for a brand new edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Let's start this bad boy off in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Beat your meat. 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 Beat your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living it. My time is now. My time is right. God damn now.
Man, what intensity.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Beat your meat. Beat your meat. Beat your meat. beat your meat, beat your meat, beat your meat, beat your meat, beat your meat.
All right. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the final edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW, aka What Isn't Wrong with AEW of 2022. Let's get this lovely Picasso picture we have here to signify what is wrong with this company based out of Jacksonville, Florida. It's time, once again, to give people what they want, what they need, what they salivate for, and that is some talk about AEW wrestling. I gotta tell you guys, like, be honest with you, I really did not have much that I dislike or loathed on Dynamite last night. Like, the prior week, I get credit where credit's due. We do talk about the stuff that we do like on the show, and then there's other times where we have to mention the stuff that was crap on the show. You know what I mean? And that's just how it goes sometimes. But yeah, we had Dynamite last night in Broomfield, Colorado, and I to be honest with you, I thought the show was pretty good from top to bottom. Of course, as you guys see in the description, there's stuff that we will address, and it would be a what the hell's wrong with AEW Summit because they always get in their way. They can't help themselves. They always get in their way. So let's get into the positive stuff. Let's hear some stuff here. Hopefully the audio works this week. I thought it was interesting here. Hangman Page was getting some medical attention. Let's hear how this one played out. All right. Thought that was pretty interesting there. Hopefully you guys got that audio there. Let's listen to one more thing, and then we'll get to the good stuff. Let's hear what Chris Jericho had to say on Dynamite last night. Oops. I guess it wasn't working. My bad. I'm sorry about that, guys. Don't worry about that. It's okay. I was not saying that. I thought audio was going to work this week. That's fine. We'll have to figure something out. That's fine. Let's get into this. Let's scrap everything I was saying before. Let's get to it. Let's start this over, all right? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Let's get into the good stuff that happened on Dynamite this week. So we start out the show with Bryan Danielson, a.k.a. Karen Danielson, taking out Ethan Page. Thought this match was fine. I didn't have an issue with it. MJF was watching this match in a luxury box inside the First Bank Center. And This match was fine. Again, Karen Danielson looks a lot like Bobby Fish as the days go by. I think that's unfortunate, at least for him and how he carries himself in the ring. His offense is so repetitive these days that I can't really find myself just enjoying the match for what it is. And that's unfortunate because, Bryan Danielson, a lot of people say he's the best wrestler in the world. I can't tell when I watch the program that's the case. So, it's unfortunate. I want to enjoy his work, but part of me has that feeling in the back of my head that I don't want to see him against MJF at Revolution, because do I need to see MJF lose the title to Bryan Danielson? I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about that if that ever were to happen. But we'll have to see how that plays out. I'm not going to prejudge, but I do have my concerns. I will say that. From there, we have other stuff that went down on the programming. Of course, we had, from there, we had the Blackpool Comic Club taking on Top Flight. That was a tag match that went a little bit too long for my liking, but I thought the match was fine. One thing I do want to mention with AEW, as I look back at this year, 2022, and just in general with their programming, is that, look, I can appreciate competitive wrestling matches just like anybody else. I could appreciate that for what it is. But at the same time, I do get kind of tired of matches that overstay their welcome, especially on television. And look, the match was fine. I liked it, but did Top Flight and the Blackpool Comic Club have to be 17 minutes? I think if you look at programming, right? Let's say you have a television show compared to a pay-per-view. Just my philosophy, I don't think you want to get pay-per-view style matches like that away on free television. And you had a match here where you're cheering both teams, and you really don't know who you're supposed to cheer for, right? And that's my thing. Like, I enjoyed the match, but for it to be as competitive as it was, and not knowing who I was supposed to cheer for along the way, really started to deduct my emotional investment for it. But as far as a match is concerned and a transcript point of view, I thought it was fine. I just thought it overstayed its welcome. I did not think it needed to be 17 or 18 plus minutes or however long that match was. So I enjoyed the match. It takes a lot for me to enjoy a job boxing match, trust me. But I did enjoy it for what it was. I just thought it went way too long. One thing I really liked from Dynamite last night was two things. Hook, that guy is... Taz should be very proud. His son is going to be a phenomenon. He's a star. The reactions he gets, how he carries himself in the ring, the kid's going to be good, man. I'm a big fan of Hook. He's one of the few people I really enjoy on a weekly basis on AEW. Also, shots in the Acclaim with their music video. Unfortunately, I'm having issues where I can't play audio on here, so it's having I've been working on my new mic board, and it's been not frustrating, but I have to get adjusted to like making sure that the audio comes from here through StreamYard, and that doesn't happen sometimes. But all that being said, I've been enjoying the programming for what it is, and the Acclaimed music video is really, really funny. If you haven't watched it, go out of your way. You know, you had the hits about Global Force Wrestling, TNA. I thought the line about Karen Jarrett was pretty funny, too. And then Karen on Twitter last night, she's like, "You don't know what you just started." Like, please don't put her on television. It's bad enough on the show that we're still letting fucking Wheeler Yuta talk on a microphone, but it's please just don't. Whatever asked Tony Khan, please don't have Max Caster in a promo segment with Karen Jarrett. That's the last thing we all need, please. It's bad enough Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal are having them being paraded around as the number one contenders for the tag team titles. this whole feud sucks, but at least for the Acclaimed, their music videos make it entertaining for what it was. So just want to give some credit where credit's due on that end. If you want my opinion of the 6 matches I've done so far in this tumbling routine, I'll say this one is probably the best one out of the 6 of them. And that's not saying much, and that's not a compliment either. A lot of these matches have made my eyes roll. They're insulting to the eyes when it comes to me, when it comes from a transfer point of view. I don't enjoy the Young Bucks. I'm not a fan of the Elite. Their matches make next to zero sense most of the time anyways, and I'm just not a fan of it. And it's just very telegraphic of how this whole feud's gone on in this series. Like, okay, we got NBA music. Once Excrement announced that the 7th match would be Escalera del Muerte at the Forum show that's taking place on the 11th, I knew then that the Elite were going to get the titles back. And that probably was always the end game, right? But just to telegraph it so obviously, and in fact to have not only a no DQ match, a falls count anywhere match, but now a ladder is going to be the reason why this feud ends. So I've already seen 2 weeks of blood, people going through tables, tornadoes to the outside. You know, I'm just so this was a feud that not needed a best of 7 series. And this is one of the things I mentioned all the time with AEW and their audience is that their crowds are very misleading. Yeah, the crowd in Broomfield, they were eating that up every single second. And there were some spots that I really enjoyed in the match. Don't get me wrong, you know, that feet trigger that Omega gave to Pac on the stage was really good. I thought that was pretty cool. But this match was all over the place. And I can't wait for this damn feud to be over with. So they have match 7. It's going to be Escalera del Muerte on January 11th. And hopefully, and I mean hopefully, this goddamn feud will come to an end. Because we need to sometimes, like, whatever. I'm not going to get to it right now. Let's get to the crap on the show. I was going to play the Chris Jericho promo for you, but nothing happened. I guess that's a good thing. And maybe I did it by design because the last thing anybody needs to hear is more Chris Jericho promos. I mentioned my concern with the Bryan Danielson and NJF stuff. Thought that was fine. I have a TK topic that I'm going to get into in just a couple seconds. There was more good stuff than bad on Dynamite this week, so I'll say that. I'll give the props where props due. Let me say this. Dark and Elevation need a major upgrade in 2023, or just fucking get rid of both of these shows because they are absolutely useless. Also, going back to my point earlier about matches overstaying their welcome for the sake of competition. Willow Nightingale and Ruby Soho lose a 16-minute match with Anna Jay and Ty Mello. Tony, TK, man, not every match needs to go through picture-in-picture. This match was okay at parts, and then other times I just thought it was going way too long. And I can respect the whole thing about cutting the ring in half, but you know, just doing the whole in and out tags just to make a match go longer is not a good thing or good tag team strategy, as Tony Schiavone would say. It's just elongating a match because nobody's interested in seeing a certain member in the team in the ring for a certain amount of time, so they compensate that by doing in and out tags, in and out tags, in and out tags, in and out tags. This is where I talk about transcribing and feeling lost while transcribing a match that looks and is mapped out and laid out like it's a fucking labyrinth or a maze. Picture it for the people watching at home. Picture if you're not me, not covered the show, right? let's say like for you see your first time watching a wrestling show and you're seeing a match going 60 million fucking directions for a 15-minute match that has no consequences, no titles, nothing to stake to it. Oh, we're having a match because Anna Jay and Ty Miller are bullies. Great. Put that shit on Rampage. Make that your main event of Dark or Elevation. That does not belong on television. That does not belong on television. I don't care what Tony Khan says. That stuff does not belong on television. And then we get to the main event. Oh, by the way, Swerve Strickland and his backstage promo with Wheeler Useless was brutal. That was JoJo Dutch at best. I did not enjoy it. I was waiting for it to be over. The fact that that's going to be a main event on Rampage tomorrow night is going to be brutal. So mid. Wheeler Yuta is so mid. Swerve Strickland is mid. He is probably one of the most overrated wrestlers in professional wrestling today. It's not close. The Mogul affiliates with Parker Boudreaux and Hayden Rock Jr. with pigtails. This group is mid at best. I don't know. Oh, man. I'm going to need an episode by myself just talking about Swerve Strickland and his push in AEW because this thing has sucked since the get-go. Swerve should be thanking Max Caster and Anthony Bowens every day for making his AEW reign in tenure relevant to this point. That's all I'm going to say on it. Anyways. All right. Shout out to Alicia. I didn't know you were checking out the video. I appreciate you. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to go to here, the main event, Wardlow and Samoa Joe. This is a match I was looking forward to be honest with you. I was really excited for it because I was looking forward to the match and I was looking forward to the aspects of, okay, here we go. You got two meaty guys going to beat the shit out of each other. It's going to be a fun, grind out match, you know what I mean? And then they do the stupid injury angle earlier in the show. This had Chris Jericho written all over it. So the whole notion that Chris Jericho does not make business decisions and not the full creative, it's just a bunch of cap. Sorry, Tony Khan. I watched your interview with Grapsody, and no offense to those guys, but the fact that Will said that this is a literal quote, and this made me laugh so hard. The fact that Will Washington said that he's going to help Tony Khan win the Booker of the Year award is so fucking funny to me. It showcases how bad this field is that we're responsible for this. Content shows, websites. I always say all the time, right? Like one of the issues I have with wrestling is that everybody only thinks the only thing that matters is booking, right? Well, here you go. You got one of the best podcasts in the world, right? One of the best wrestling shows. I watch it the weekends once I'm done with NWA USA. I enjoy Will and the crew at Grapsody. I have no personal issues with them. But I'm sorry, Will. I think you're a cool dude and all, but to say that you're going to help TK win the Observer Best Booker of the Year, like, I don't even know how to react to that. I don't have enough time to have my face in the face palm position. Like, I don't want my face starting to get a whole bunch of pimples and shit just because my hands on my face the whole time. Like, you are going to help Tony Khan win the Observer Award. What the fuck are we doing here? You're media. Like, come on, man. Why do you say that tongue-in-cheek? I watched the whole interview. I enjoyed Grapsody. I enjoyed their work. They make some good points. Even at times I disagree with them. But to outright say that you're going to help Tony Khan, you a media member is going to help Tony Khan win the Book of the Year when you watched their program this entire year, it has no merit to him winning that award in the first place. It's so funny to me. I can give you 5 different examples as to why Tony Khan does not deserve to win the Booker of the Year award. And I don't even talk about booking on this show. Let's start off with this. FTR, 9 months as ranked number 1 contenders. They have their match to Acclaim on Dynamite instead of television, and they lose. And you barely showcase FTR on television. Miro, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, not Ricky Starks, but what's his face? Etc. Misplaced booking of these guys. Eddie Kingston and his feud with Chris Jericho. How that is played out. The CM Punk, Jon Moxley world title feud. That in itself deserves you not winning anything this year. And last is certainly not least, the interim world championships. I don't care what happened with you and Thunder Rosa. I understand that CM Punk got injured, but interim world titles are stupid. I never believe I hear a media member say, "Oh, I'm going to help you make your case as to why you should win the Observer Award." Like, come on, man. Come on. That is a bunch of capping. You could watch how the whole, not even just the AEW media scrum. Like, I know that's a major knock that people have had towards Tony this year and how he handled that situation. And that rightfully so. But you know, you look at how he's handled CM Punk, how he's handled FTR, how he let Chris Jericho just walk all over Eddie Kingston in their feud. You mean tell me that warrants him to be a Booker of the Year? Hell, even the stuff early in the year with Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara before Cody left AEW, that's worthy enough for him to be the Booker of the Year? Why? Because Jon Moxley bleeds every other week? That Chris Jericho wants to have 20-minute matches on television when nobody wants to see that in 2022 anymore? Like, come on, man. Come on. Like, I want to give AEW the benefit of the doubt, and I want to give the the wrestling podcast world, the benefit of the doubt. But come on, when you say stupid shit like that, you just giving away the fact of your agenda. And then you go after people on Twitter calling you out for the fact that you do have an agenda towards wrestling promotions and that you do have favoritism. You outright say on your show that you're going to help Tony Khan win a Wrestling Observer Booker of the Year award. What are we doing here? Oh, man. All right, let me do the excrement impression that will wrap this up here. But again, go back to Samoa Joe and Wardlow. I'm sorry for that rant, but I need to get it off my chest. Yeah, they do the injury angle, right? With him and Wardlow earlier in the show, just to make Wardlow look bad. He's a heel, so I can understand why they went about it, but just how it went and how it was executed, I just thought it was kind of corny and lame. Samoa Joe wanted to be a referee stoppage. So I guess this is a setup that you make Wardlow, again, look bad on television just so you can have Samoa Joe and Darby Allin next week on Dynamite for the TNT title. Okay. Awesome. Darby gets title match. He's in his hometown in Seattle. And then what happens when he loses? Or Darby Allin beats Samoa Joe. You take another moment away from Wardlow that should have happened in the first place, and you're back to square one. This TNT title is cursed. It is. It's just cursed to the gills. All right, let's wrap it up with this. The excrement, one last excrement impression for 2022, and here you go. Let me take one more swig of water before we do this. All right. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming to you live on Rampage on Friday is the New Year's Smash edition of Rampage. We got Orange Cassidy for AEW All-Atlantic Championship on the line against his best friend contingent member Trent Beretta. Jade Cargill put AEW TBS Championship on the line against former baddie Kiera Hogan. In the main event, it's Swerve Strickland taking out the Blackpool Comic Club's Wheeler Yuta. Coming up next week, got Dynamite. It's a brand new Dynamite in Seattle. Chris Jericho will be taking on Ricky Starks. And, of course, Samoa Joe for AEW TNT Championship on the line against Darby Allin. And the week following that is AEW's return to the fabulous Kia Forum in Inglewood, California, as it's match number 7 in the best of 7 series for the AEW World Trios Championship. It's the Death Triangle putting their AEW World Trios on the line against the Elite in the Escalator Delaware to ladder match. Who will win this best of 7 series? Then we got Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter take on Saraya and a partner of her choosing. More matches being announced on Twitter via Tony Khan. Make sure you get your tickets right now. That's AWTIX.com. Woo! All right. We're going to put a rib on the bowl on that. Oh, man. Okay. On that note, we're going to wrap it up right there. I hope you guys had a wonderful time this week hanging out with me. That, my friends, is what the hell's wrong with AEW.
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Everything. All right, guys. I love doing this segment for you guys. This is a blast. Anyways, let's have some fun this weekend. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you enjoy Wrestle Kingdom. The next time I'll be speaking to you guys will be the day after Wrestle Kingdom. So that'll be January 5th, our first episode of 2023. We are 9 episodes away from reaching 350 episodes of the Hoots podcast, which is pretty nuts. So I just want to say to everybody who's hanged out with us this year, everybody who's been a special guest, to Brother Carter, and yours truly, Brother Adam, I just want to say everybody have a wonderful new year. You know, I want everybody to remember to be the authentic product that is yourselves. Remember, nobody dictates and pays your life for yourself and the man upstairs. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy Wrestle Kingdom. It should be a fun event. Make sure you support my work at ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. You can follow me on Twitter if you like at the Hoots Podcast or Josh Lopez Media on there. You can check that out. Make sure you support Brother Carter's work at DerekStockton.com, at Jericho06. That's Jericho with a D. Make sure you support his work as well at WrestlingRumors.net. With that being said, also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on the road to getting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, smash that subscribe button, press that bell notification so you never miss a new episode. And be on the lookout, guys. In 2023, we're going to put some more content out there for you guys. Just let us know what type of content you'd like to see from us in 2023. And make sure that we step up our YouTube game as well. So you can see a lot of yourselves truly. You can see a lot of me in 2023 as I'm going to put myself out there more for you guys. And we appreciate the love and support for the podcast. Remember, again, just be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Make sure you enjoyed the New Year's. Happy holidays, everybody. For signing off for the final time of 2022, this has been the Hoots Podcast. We'll be back next week with episode 342 next week. We'll talk to y'all later. Yes, sir.